Your life is about strategy, and if you are not planning ahead, you are already setting yourself up for failure. The percentage of people that actually follow through with their New Year's resolutions is less than 10%. And if you want to learn to set yourself apart from the majority of the world and actually become very successful, all you have to do is stay committed to yourself. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to start being more strategic and intentional with your life, not just this year, but every year going forward. So that when you start to implement this, it is going to become how you naturally show up in your life. It's going to become your identity. That you no longer have to rely on these stupid trends of new year, new me. You know that you are going to set yourself up in a way that allows you to be successful and actually achieve everything that you want, because you learn to become someone who keeps promises to themselves and actually follows through with the things they say they're going to do. I'm going to explain to you exactly why most people give up on their New Year's resolutions, or they make promises to themselves and they don't actually follow through with it. We do not have a good example by society about how we need to approach our own life, because it is literally built on convenience and comfortability, and that is not how you achieve your dream life. You have to be willing to put in the work. You have to show up differently in your life to the point that it becomes a new identity for you. Because if it doesn't, you are going to give up easily on the commitments that you make. And it is all about setting yourself up for success. The reason that people make commitments to themselves, they say, New Year, new me. They make all these resolutions and they're like, I'm going to start the beginning of the year. And then the year rolls around and maybe they're committed for a week or a month and then they give up on it. Is because they set goals, but they did not set intentions, and they specifically did not set a strategy in order to implement those goals. And so, yeah, it sounds great, all these goals that you want to achieve, and you're thinking about this version of yourself that you want to become, and it rolls around and you're not feeling motivated, you're not feeling in the mood to do it. And over time, you slowly just give up on those promises that you make to yourself. It is because you didn't actually become the version of yourself that is a match to creating those results. And I promise you, that version does not give up easily. That version of you is very disciplined, and they possess certain traits that you need to have in order to create those sustainable results for yourself. New Year, New Me is not sustainable. It is not a way to approach your life in a sustainable way that is going to create long lasting results for yourself. And we always get a dopamine hit when we think about the goals that we want to achieve, and that is why we feel so motivated in the moments. But the realistic part is that you have to become someone who is willing to show up even when they don't want to, if you want to create certain results in your life. It's not about relying on someone else to help you show up and do what you need to do. It's not about depending on your mood if you feel like waking up and doing it. It's not about what everybody else around you is doing. It's not about what you've created in the past. It's not about who you've been. It is about who you are choosing to be going forward, and becoming someone who shows up for themselves and doesn't rely on other people, doesn't rely on motivation, doesn't rely on their mood or their feeling or any external factors in order to continue pursuing their goals. That is how important it has to become to you. You have to want it that badly. Even setting new goals for the year is amazing and all, but say it's like the last month of the year and it's December 1st, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to start doing all these things January 1st. I'm going to become this new version of myself when the new year starts. But the truth is, if you wanted it bad enough, you would start immediately, because every single moment of your life is very precious. And I don't mean that in a corny way. I mean it in a way that every single moment you are choosing who you are identifying as. You are choosing the habits that you are creating every single day. And over time, that is building the results in your life. And if you are continuing to do things that you know are not good for you, that you know are keeping you from your goals, that is the version of yourself that you are settling for. You have to stop identifying with things in your life that are toxic for you, that keep you stuck, that are not allowing you to embrace the best parts of yourself. You cannot love and value yourself while also engaging with habits that are in contradiction to what you want in your life, that are not allowing you to achieve your goals. This is really the part of your journey that most people are not ready to hear, and this is why most people give up on the process of it, because they don't know how to become that version of themselves. They don't know how to show up differently. They don't know how to disidentify with a version of themselves that is no longer serving them. And they're setting goals so far ahead because they don't actually plan to achieve it. They're not creating an intention with the goal that they are setting. They're not creating a strategy in order to achieve that goal. They're not breaking their goals down into smaller daily habits. And that is why they are not achieving it. And that is why they are always going to give up on it very easily, because their approach to it is not sustainable. But don't worry, we've identified all of this. I'm still going to show you exactly how you can be committed to yourself this year, every year going forward. And it is just going to feel so good for you to create this new identity for yourself. You're never going to look back. It is about planning ahead, structuring yourself up for success, executing it in the right way, and being consistent with yourself. That is what is going to create your dream life, and it allows you to implement it in a way that is going to create those lasting results for you, that you're going to avoid burnout, you're not going to feel overwhelmed, and you're going to make progress every single day towards what you want without feeling like you have to make all these drastic changes in your life. The way that you are going to become committed to yourself in 2025 and every moment going forward from this video is to be very honest and real about yourself about what is not working for you. Because you have to identify what you are unsatisfied with, why you feel stuck in your life, why you feel like you want more for yourself, and identifying your why behind the goals that you are setting for yourself. Leveling up your life, becoming very successful, is about clarity. You need to get very real about who you actually are, what you want out of your life, and what you are doing that is not serving you. Because once you identify those things, it is going to become very clear to you about how you need to go about your time and planning moving forward. This is a really crucial aspect about this journey, is because a lot of people avoid themselves. They say they want more for their life, they want to achieve these bigger goals, they have a bigger vision, but they don't actually realize how they're actually being a version of themselves every single day that is in contradiction to what they want. It is going to set you ahead of the game. You have to get clear on your identity. You have to understand how you show up every single day. You have to understand the habits that you have that are no longer serving you. Wanting more for your life means that you have to align to more. This includes the behaviors that you do every single day, the way you think, the mindset that you have, the people that you're surrounded by, even the environment that you're in. All of these external factors play a huge role in where you currently are in your life and how you are setting yourself up for success to actually get to where you want to be. You have to identify who you're being on a daily basis and release everything that is not a match to what you want. And after you've identified that, because that is the most important part of this process, you are going to identify the goals that you want to achieve. This is the fun part. This is the part that everybody gets excited about. They get a dopamine hit. They are so excited about what they're going to achieve in their future. They see this big vision for their life. This is the part that people love doing, but then they don't make it past this part. Dream big in your life, because you are capable of achieving anything that you want in your life. And everybody should be living out their wildest dreams. Everybody should be living a life that fulfills them, living in their purpose, and being the happiest version of themselves. Because that is when we all collectively thrive. And I think it's so important to help each other get to that version of ourselves. And so create a vision board. Identify everything that you want for yourself. Get very specific. I don't care how long the list is. Write down every single goal that you want to achieve for yourself, even if it's not just this year, it's just going forward. Because we're not exactly just going to approach all this in a bigger vision type of way. We're going to approach it in a small baby step type of way that is going to be sustainable for you and it's going to be easy for you to implement. So, for the second part, you're going to identify everything that you want out of your life. And it is okay to be unrealistic. Your goals should seem crazy to other people. That is how big you should dream in your life. And after you create your vision board, after you identify what you want for yourself, the specific life that you want to create, the dream life that you see the highest version of you living, we're going to compare the first part and the second part so that you can see your goals in comparison to who you're currently being. And once you put them side by side, it is going to be very clear to you about what you need to change. Because the third step of this process is implementing daily habits. It is structuring yourself in a way. It is identifying the daily habits that are going to allow you to achieve these goals. Meaning that if you want the body of your dreams, you're not just going to show up one day at the gym with that dream body. It is going to take time, it is going to take effort. Success doesn't happen overnight, and you have to let go of this idea of perfection because it is holding you back from taking action. And so, building the body of your dreams, the first step that you probably would do is just show up at the gym. That is a daily habit that you're going to start doing so that you can start showing up differently and identifying with the version of yourself that is making a certain result for them possible. That is how you approach every single goal that you want to achieve. And it doesn't have to be every single goal that you want right away. You can pick like a top 5 that you really want to focus on, and maybe you approach it in a monthly manner, quarterly. Figure out a method for you to set your goals and for you to track the progress. And identify a time frame that just works for you. Daily habits have the power to change your life, and I think a lot of times what stops people from starting or they give up on the process so easily is because they think they have to make drastic changes. They have this idea in their mind that they have to approach their life in such a different way, and that's not necessarily true. You just have to start setting yourself up a little bit differently, making small changes taking baby steps, because that is exactly what is going to create those long term results. And that is how it becomes your identity and how you just naturally show up in your life so that you let go of this idea of motivation. So, for the first one, we identified what's not working for you. The second step, we identified your goals. Third, we compared it and identified the daily habits that you can start doing to get to those goals. And the last step of this process, which is the most important, which is going to give you that longevity, is consistency. You have to start holding yourself to a higher standard and embodying new traits that actually match the highest version of you. You can plan, you can structure and execute all you want, but if you are not consistent, you're not going to see those results. You have to learn to find a method to hold yourself accountable, tracking your progress, setting those goals first, and over time evaluating how you're doing, how much further you got, what you need to change up. You need to view your life like you have different seasons and that you're doing an audit on yourself every season, figuring out how you can show up even better to get where you want to be even faster. The highest version of you is very disciplined. They structure themselves in a way that leaves no room for excuses. And you have to start setting yourself up for success. Consistency is literally the name of the game. That is what sets you apart from your competition. That is what sets the average person apart from the greatest, most successful person. And that is exactly what allows people to follow through with their New Year's resolutions, is to be consistent with themselves, to show up even when they don't want to, because I promise you, you're going to have days where you're not feeling it. You have to remember your why. You have to push yourself to show up even when you don't want to, because that is the only thing in the way of allowing you to achieve that goal that you want. You have to be willing to show up even when it's hard, even when you have so many other things to do that day. You have to find time for it. You have to set yourself up in a way that literally makes it impossible to make excuses, because that is the only way that you are going to get to where you want to go. That is how you let go of things like New Year, New Me, or New Year's resolutions. You just become someone who does it all the time, who plans their life ahead, who structures themselves up, that creates a daily schedule to execute their daily habits. That is how you become the highest version of yourself. That is how you become someone who people constantly ask you, how did you do it? How did you get there? Through consistency, through effort, through valuing myself, through my ability to show up even when I didn't want to. And basically, you just realize that the only thing that was ever in the way of your goals was just yourself. It was your excuses, your lack of accountability, and ability to discipline yourself. 2025 is the year that you just take control of your life. You allow yourself to become a brand new version of yourself so that you can create new results and you can actually feel fulfilled and live in your purpose, and you make it so much easier on your future self, because the more that you put in the effort now and you build consistency for yourself, the easier you are making it on your future self to live a softer life. You have to be willing to do what is hard now, doing the difficult parts. And when people approach you and ask you, how did you do it? You tell them that you did the difficult parts first. You put in the work, you valued yourself, and you did what it takes in order to create the results that you wanted, and you never allowed lack of motivation or excuses or any other distractions to get in the way of your success. Allow your own greatness and give yourself that amount of effort because you deserve it. And stop giving yourself the bare minimum effort in your life. You have to set the standard with yourself first, and you are willing to give yourself the bare minimum. What do you think that says about how you value yourself and what you are willing to accept for treatment in your life? I promise that if you implement this strategy, you will see a lot of success for yourself in 2025, and it's just going to become your identity. It's going to become so easy for you. You're going to be able to create results on autopilot because you learn to become someone who actually matches the results that they're creating. And you realize the hack to life was to learn to embody traits of the version of yourself that you want to become. Be intentional with your life. Stop wasting your time. Do what is difficult now, and you will thank yourself later. And if you want to continue to level up and just become the highest version of yourself and really prioritize your own personal growth, then I will see you in the next video.